Good morning. Thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness practice. On Friday, I talked about Neville Goddard's little book, Feeling is the Secret. And in order to create what you truly desire, you must feel it into being. You must feel that you're already in that state. You must impress your subconscious mind with the desirable state and assume the feeling that would be yours had you already realized your wish. Now, your subconscious mind is non-selective. That means if you're in a bad mood and you carry that mood into the day, into the week, into the month, your subconscious mind just believes that that is normal, natural, what you want, because that's what you're focused on. What you focus on grows. So if you're not feeling great, you want to pause and think, what have I been thinking about? What have I been expecting? Because your subconscious mind just picks up on what you're focused on, what you're practicing, what you're rehearsing, what you're repeating over and over and over, and says, your wish is my command. Whatever you want, whatever you say you don't want, whatever you're focused on with emotion, whatever you give your attention and expectation to, you create more of in your own life. To think feelingly on any state impresses it on the subconscious. Neville says, therefore, if you dwell on difficulties, barriers, or delay, the subconscious, by its very non-selective nature, accepts the feeling of difficulties and obstacles as your request and proceeds to produce them in your outer world. So then your job is to decide, what do you really want? Do you really want to feel happy, healthy, joyful? Is that opposite of how you're feeling, or is that exactly what you're looking for? The subconscious is the womb of creation. It receives the idea unto itself through your feelings. It never changes the idea received, but it always gives it form. Hence, the subconscious outpictures the idea in the image and likeness of the feeling received. To feel a state as hopeless or impossible is to impress the subconscious with the idea of failure. Although the subconscious faithfully serves mankind, it must not be inferred that the relation is that of a servant to a master, as was anciently conceived. The ancient prophets called it the slave and servant of man. St. Paul personified the subconscious as a woman and said the woman should be subject to man in everything. The subconscious does serve you. It serves all of mankind and faithfully gives form to each person's deepest feelings. However, the subconscious has a distinct distaste for compulsion. It responds to persuasion rather than to command. Consequently, it resembles a beloved wife more than a servant. Ephesians 5:23, the husband is head of the wife, may not be true of man and woman in their earthly relationship, but it is true of the relationship between the conscious and the subconscious. Neville Goddard explains this as the male and female aspects of consciousness. The mystery to which Paul referred when he wrote, "This is a great mystery," He that loveth his wife loveth himself, and they two shall be one flesh, is simply the mystery of consciousness. Consciousness is really one and undivided for creation's sake. Consciousness is really one and undivided. Neville says, but for creation's sake, it appears to be divided into two. The conscious, the objective aspect, truly is the head and dominates the subconscious, the subjective, or the female aspect. However, this leadership is not that of the tyrant, but of the lover. So, by assuming the feeling that would be yours were you already in possession of your objective, the subconscious is moved to build the exact likeness of your assumption. Your desires are not subconsciously accepted until you assume the feeling of their reality. For only through feeling is an idea subconsciously accepted, and only through this subconscious acceptance is it ever expressed. When you desire the state of being happy, healthy, joyful, purposeful, when you get into that feeling, then that shows up in your outside world. The subconscious accepts as true that which you feel as true. And because creation is the result of subconscious impressions, you, by your feeling, determine the creation in your own life. You are already that which you want to be, and your refusal to believe this is the only reason you do not see it. Now, I believe in God. I believe in Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit. But Jesus said, you are capable of even more. If you are a Christian and you believe that God is infinite, God is everywhere, God is in you and expresses through you, then you must believe that through your human hands, you are physically creating what shows up in your world. Neville Goddard says it is easier to ascribe your feelings to events in the world than to admit that the conditions of the world reflect your feeling. However, it is eternally true that the outside mirrors the inside. As within, so without. As above, so below. As below, so above. As within, so without. As without, so within. A man can receive nothing unless it is given him from heaven. That's from John 3:23. But Luke says, the kingdom of heaven is within you. Nothing comes from without. All things come from within, from the subconscious. It is impossible for you to see anything other than the contents of your own consciousness. Your world in every detail is your consciousness objectified. Objective states bear witness of subconscious impressions. A change of impression results in a change of expression. Neville says to seek on the outside for that which you do not feel you are is to seek in vain, for we never find that which we want. We find only that which we are. In short, you express and have only that which you are conscious of being or conscious of possessing. Matthew, Mark, and Luke all say, to him that hath, it is given. Denying the evidence of the senses and appropriating the feeling of the wish fulfilled is the way to the realization of your desire. I think we've been taught incorrectly, to him that hath it is given. I was raised to believe that that means the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. That's not what it means at all. If you are poor in spirit, you don't believe that you're worthy of creating a life that you desire. If you have an idea of something that you really want, you have evidence in the past that you wanted something so deeply and you went after it with all your heart, all your mind, with every action you could think of until you got that thing you wanted, whether it was a university degree, a trip, a particular vehicle, a home, a particular dress or suit. There was something that you had to have, and you did everything in your power to make it happen. Well, if you want something, you can give it up to God. You can practice feeling as if you already have it. And the way is shown. Beautiful relationships with your family, wonderful relationships with colleagues, respectful, wonderful relationships with your neighbors, a particular wonderful love life. What would it feel like to be loved, to be cherished, to be respected, to be happy, to be joyful? If you're looking around at the world and saying that person is happy, but I'm not, that person has a loving relationship, but I don't, that person gets along with everyone, but there's so many people in my life that are bugging me, that will continue to be your experience because what you focus on grows. I don't want you focusing on the lack of a relationship, the missing loved ones. I want you to feel so happy and joyful and loved by divine intelligence, having a relationship with God, having a relationship with yourself, getting into the state of being happy, healthy, well, and loved. And as you happily go along with your day, don't be surprised if the love of your life shows up. Whatever you desire and plant in your heart, and get into that state of already being there, already being that, your life will grow and change and expand to show you that it's possible, that it's yours, that it's meant for you. You can practice this with loving relationships, with a healthy body, with purposeful work. Whatever you really want, mastery of self-control of your thoughts and feelings is your highest achievement. Don't look to the outside for evidence of it's not happening or when is it coming, but practice feeling the way you want to feel, and your subconscious mind will bring to you all the people, all the resources, all the conditions to show you what you've been thinking, what you've been practicing, what you've been focusing on. Neville says mastery of self-control of your thoughts and feelings is your highest achievement. However, until perfect self-control is attained, so that in spite of appearances you feel all that you want to feel, use sleep and prayer to aid you in realizing your desired states. Sleep and prayer are the two gateways into the subconscious. Sleep, the life that occupies 1/3 of our stay on earth, is the natural door into the subconscious. So it is with sleep that we can now be concerned. The conscious 2/3 of our life on earth is measured by the degree of attention that we give to sleep. Our understanding of and delight in what sleep has to bestow will cause us night after night to set out for it as though we were keeping an appointment with a lover. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, in slumbering upon the bed, then he openeth the ears of men and sealeth their instructions. Job 33. It is in sleep and in prayer, a state akin to sleep, that man enters into the subconscious to make his impressions and receive his instructions. In these states, the conscious and subconscious are creatively joined. The male and female become one flesh. Sleep is the time when the male aspect or conscious mind turns from the world of sense to seek its lover or subconscious self. The subconscious, unlike the woman of the world who marries her husband to change him, has no desire to change the conscious waking state. The subconscious loves the conscious as it is and faithfully reproduces its likeness in the outer world of form. The conditions and events of your life are your children formed from the molds of your subconscious impressions while you sleep. They are made in the image and likeness of your innermost feeling, that they may reveal you to yourself. As in heaven, so on earth, as in the subconscious, so on earth. Whatever you have in your conscious mind, in your consciousness, as you go to sleep, is the measure of your expression in the waking 2/3 of your life on earth. Nothing stops you from realizing your objective except your failure to feel that you are already that which you wish to be, or that you are already in possession of the thing you seek. Your subconscious gives form to your desires only when you feel your wish fulfilled. Neville tells us the unconsciousness of sleep is the normal state of the subconscious. Because all things come from within yourself, and your conception of yourself determines that which comes, you should always feel the wish fulfilled before you drop off to sleep. You never draw out of the deep of yourself that which you want. You always draw that which you are, and you are that which you feel yourself to be, as well as that which you feel is true of others. To be realized, then, the wish must be resolved into the feeling of being or having or witnessing the state sought. This is accomplished by assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. the feeling which comes in response to the question, how would I feel were my wish fulfilled? If my wish was realized, what would that feel like? That's a feeling which should monopolize and immobilize your attention as you relax into sleeping. You must be in the consciousness of having or being that which you want to be or have before you drop off to sleep. Neville Goddard says, once man is asleep, he has no freedom of choice. His entire slumber is dominated by his last waking concept of himself. It follows, therefore, that he should always assume the feeling of accomplishment and satisfaction before retiring to sleep. In Psalms, come before me with singing and thanksgiving. Enter into his gates with thanksgiving and into his courts with praise. Your mood prior to sleep defines your state of consciousness as you enter into the presence of your subconscious, your everlasting lover. She sees you exactly as you feel yourself to be. As you prepare for sleep, if you assume and maintain the consciousness of success by feeling, I am successful, you must be successful. Neville instructs us to lie flat on your back with your head on a level with your body. Feel as you would if you were in possession of your wish, and quietly relax into unconsciousness. Sleep is the door through which the conscious waking mind passes to be creatively joined to the subconscious. Sleep conceals the creative act while the objective world reveals it. In sleep, man impresses the subconscious with his conception of himself. That's why you hear everywhere, never go to sleep angry. In the Song of Solomon, Neville suggests this is a beautiful description of the romance of the conscious and subconscious. By night on my bed I sought him whom my soul loveth. I found him whom my soul loveth. I held him and would not let him go until I had brought him into my mother's house and into the chamber of her that conceived me. Preparing to sleep, you feel yourself into the state of the answered wish and then relax into unconsciousness. Your realized wish is he whom you seek. By night on your bed, you seek the feeling of the wish fulfilled, that you may take it with you into the chamber of her that conceived you, into sleep or the subconscious which gave you form, that this wish also may be given expression. This is the way to discover and conduct your wishes into the subconscious. Feel yourself in the state of the realized wish and quietly drop off to sleep. Night after night, assume the feeling of being, having, and witnessing that which you seek to be, that which you seek to possess, and see manifested. Never go to sleep feeling discouraged or dissatisfied. Never sleep in the consciousness of failure. Your subconscious, whose natural state is sleep, sees you as you believe yourself to be. And whether it be good, bad, or indifferent, the subconscious will faithfully embody your belief. As you feel, so do you impress her, and she, the perfect lover, gives form to these impressions and outpictures them as the children of her beloved. In the Song of Solomon, "Thou art all fair, my love, there is no spot in thee," is the attitude of mind to adopt before dropping off to sleep. Disregard appearances and feel that things are as you wish them to be, for he calleth things that are not seen as though they were, and the unseen becomes seen. To assume the feeling of satisfaction is to call conditions into being which will mirror satisfaction. Signs follow, they do not precede. Proof that you are will follow the consciousness that you are. It will not precede it. Neville says you are an eternal dreamer dreaming non-eternal dreams. Your dreams take form as you assume the feeling of their reality. Do not limit yourself to the past. Knowing that nothing is impossible to consciousness, begin to imagine states beyond the experiences of your past. Whatever the mind of man can imagine, man can realize. All objective visible states were first subjective invisible states, and you called them into visible by assuming the feeling of their reality. The creative process is first imagining and then believing the state imagined. Always imagine and expect the best. The world cannot change until you change your conception of it, as within, so without. Create a wonderful day. Create the state of being that you prefer. Enjoy your day. Imagine what you could create and go out and do it. Thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness practice. I'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 7.